episode of A Breath of Fresh Marketing. I'm your host, Melissa Psihudakis, and I'm here today with Jeff Wright. He works with business owners to provide them with solutions for their digital strategies through his company, Nexinite. Welcome, Jeff.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa, for having me. Excited to be here.
Of course. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, like you said, my name is Jeff Wright. I've been from Napa Valley, California. I have a beautiful wife, married to for 7 years now, and 2 kids, 2 young girls, and a third on the way. I joke around with my friends, I got 2 girls right now, and we're thinking a third on the way. So they always rooting for me to have a boy. I said, you know what, I think I'm rooting for a boy as well, just based on the third wedding, right? No need for that third wedding. So, but yeah, so I work managing partner with Nexinite. We're Microsoft Business Solutions partner. We've been in it for about 10 years now, and our focus has really been about solving business problems, across the small and medium-sized businesses.
Nice. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the baby and on the business. So
yeah, thank you.
Have you always had an interest in technology?
No, I didn't. I was. I've always had an interest in business and really like selling product or selling things. And it's so kind of cliche to actually talk about it because it's so popular right now across all the TikToks and social medias space. But I remember as a young kid being woken up at 5:30 in the 5:30 in the morning on the weekends, and my mom throwing me back in the back of an 1980 Buick, and us driving to my grandmother's house to host garage sales. And my mother, my grandmother, both from Sicily, and that's how they really made a living. My grandfather came over with, of course, my grandmother, and he was got in the postal business, so worked for the post office. And unfortunately, had a heart attack at a young age. And so my grandmother got into real estate, and then on the weekends was buying and selling and flipping at her garage sales. And so I saw transactional business at such a young early age. I remember in 5th grade, I was selling the beaded animals that hang on the JanSport backpacks to kids, and I priced it at the price point that I knew that they had for lunch money, and got criticized for that a lot at school for that. But so it was always about business, and even interwoven into that, it was about it was about people and having that kind of transactional relationship, whether that was selling something or providing value or a couple laughs or even something like this, right? My mom, I could vividly remember sitting on the garage stairs inside watching things happen, and the regulars coming on a regular basis with their carts, walking up to the garage sales and wanting to have conversation and walking away with something that they probably didn't even need, right? And I just valued that so much. And so no technology, but where I really started to kind of, find my own in this space was in the wine industry. So as I said, I'm from Napa Valley, California. I'm actually repping the new state hat that I moved to recently, about 4 weeks ago, North Carolina. But in Napa, as everyone knows, it's the wine industry. And when I came back from school, I had a friend of mine say, hey, I got this job in the wine industry. Are you interested? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And that was where, we were tasting, right? We were at a tasting room behind a bar, pouring wine and interacting and meeting with people. And it brought back so many memories for me of that transactional. People were coming, they wanted to experience something. And it was your goal to sell them that story, sell them that experience, and then potentially the product, which was wine, and doing that on a regular basis. And so I started to develop, relationships with those people that were coming in and out. And that's really where my passion was for, with wanting to start a business, and really where that tied into kind of how Nexinite has become Nexinite.
Oh, which brings me to my next question. Was how Nexinite was born.
Yeah. So Ken Pilkins is our founding managing partner. Okay. His vision of what Nexinite is today really stemmed from the 2008 construction, the crash, right? We remember vividly. He was in the construction space, and he was a CTO there for a national construction firm, and we know what took place. And so he kind of said, one stake he put in the ground was like, I'm never putting, my fate in someone else's hands ever again. It's going to be me. And then secondly, he saw all the potential of the cloud as now businesses had to kind of rethink where they were going to make their investments. And so he saw that, Office 365, which now we know, Microsoft 365, he saw the potential there and goes, small medium businesses are going to need this. The cloud is going to come through and make a business owner's life easier. And so this is where he's going to, make his investment into it. So he partnered with Microsoft as one of the original cloud champions. And as the wine business for me was kind of, I was just seeing what I wanted to do. I was golfing with some friends, and, in college when I graduated, it was really two things. I played baseball, and it was funny, on career day, they put all these athletes like into a section into the gym, and they said, you're going to be in medical sales or you're going to be in technology sales. That's where it was for us. And I didn't go that route. And so all my buddies were like, you got to get in tech sales. You got to get in medical sales. And so one of my friends says, hey, I got a buddy that's in tech sales, started a tech company. And he needs some sales presence. It's a startup. So I met with Ken, and we sat in an empty office. He rented the small office spot in Fairfield, California. There was nothing on the wall. It was a desk and a chair and a printer. And he started talking about the cloud and SharePoint and business processes and started going down. And I knew nothing. I truly knew nothing about what he was talking about. But I bought into his kind of passion around that business owners need this, and it will bring true value to them. And I thought, and I believed him. And I said, if that's really true, then on my side, I'll be able to, tell that story of how this technology and the investment in Microsoft Cloud will bring that value to them. So that was, that's really where it started. So two kind of guys kind of converging together. And it's really been a journey the last 10 years.
Well, that's great. Can you give us a little overview of how Nexinite helps business owners?
Yeah, at a high level, at a high level, we solve their problems, right? I mean, and we do that by leveraging the investments that most companies now are making into some level of Office 365. And so if we run into companies that don't have Office 365 or invest in the cloud, then we really talk to them about, whys and, the hows of getting to the cloud. And then once you're there, we're starting to see not a lot of people talking about it, but okay, I'm in Office 365, I'm in the cloud, what's next? Mm-hmm. And so that's really where I think our value skyrockets with the customer. Migrations have been a legacy business and have been in the business for a long time. And there's tools out there that you and I could buy for $12, $15, $18, per mailbox and get it done ourselves.
Right.
And so the true value is once you're in the cloud, once you've made that initial investment or making that investment on a regular basis, what then do I do? And I think for us, that's really our biggest focus. And so identifying the investments they're making outside of the cloud, document management systems. We worked with a small business. Here's a good example. Worked with a small business that was spending about $6,000 to $8,000 with Box, right? A Dropbox and Box and that whole deal. And, what we noticed was they were already leveraging Office 365 and SharePoint was there ready for them. Mm-hmm. And so they had that, and we shared that value proposition to them, and they said, absolutely, right? So we made the migration into SharePoint, and now all of a sudden that $6,000 is off the table. And now they're leveraging, the licenses that they're already making, that initial investment in. So, for us, it's about solving their problems, really trying to understand it, and letting the technology do what it's just supposed to do. And so the other one is the relationship part. Is like really actually saying, hey, we're here for you. We're going to be right along with you, and we're going to help you, achieve the vision that you have set for your own business. Absolutely.
So what's the most common problem that you see new business owners struggling with?
Yeah, what's the saying? They know what they know. They don't know what they don't know, right? I mean, it's business owners are great in what they do, right? And technology moves so quickly and so fast that what they thought worked for their business or what was right for their business 2 or 3 years ago, right, could have completely changed, now. And so, we're there to educate. We're there to share with them, what's possible. And so, a couple things, right? They're not optimized, right? They're like that example I shared with Box. We clearly showed them, hey, you're spending money over where you don't need to, right? And let's optimize your investments. The other one is, right sizing. This is probably our biggest conversation that we have with most of our customers is a lot of the products that have been developed over the last 25 years, they build this huge solution, right? That fits a certain industry or, certain vertical. And what we've noticed is a lot of the businesses that are making investments in there are only using a portion of it. And so trying to understand to say, hey, you're making this large investment, but only using a portion of it. Can we right size your needs or your solutions to what Microsoft 365 is already offering to you? And that's really where I think we're seeing some of the more common problems with business owners and businesses that we deal with on a regular basis. I'll tell you another one. A simple one is unused licenses. We saw a customer, an insurance firm, that had 125 Microsoft 365 licenses that they were paying on a monthly basis, $20 a pop, right? $20 a user. And they only had 65 that were using the licenses. Now, I know that's not, a ton of money when we do the math, but I mean, that's kind of where our value comes, to show you all of those items and make sure, hey, you're right sized, you're being optimal with the investments you're making, and you're actually paying for what you're using. Yeah. And so that's really, I think, the ones we're seeing the most value in solving problems quickly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And money's money at the end of the day. So
yeah,
wherever you can save makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your process like for helping a business develop their digital strategy?
Yeah. Internally, we've been working on this, and I've shared this with you in the past, but we almost really trying to, we use the term internally where you're digital Sherpa, right? It's digital transformation is not easy. I mean, let's just talk about transformation for a second. Transformation for us is, when you think about it, I think of fitness, right? And we have been slammed for, for what I remember, 30, 40 years, right? Been slammed with, this diet or that fad or this product or that supplement, right? But what we're talking about is trying to help someone with their body transformation. It's not easy. It's a mountain to climb. And I think for all of us, we would agree that, hey, maybe those products help a little bit. Maybe the trainer helps a little bit. But I think for us, it's admitting that it's not easy. Digital transformation is hard. But as your digital Sherpa, and we talk about internally is that we understand what it takes. We're doing it right along with other businesses. We're taking on the obstacles, and then we're also with you every step of the way. And I think what customers, and companies and organizations are needing to understand is, for so long they were making investments into managing their devices, managing their on-premise hardware or infrastructure, and managing, in the industry, we call it the blinking lights, and spending a significant amount of money in that space. Typically, a managed service provider will charge somewhere between $75 to, I've seen upwards to $225, really, in like New York City and some of the larger metropolitan areas, per person per month, to just manage, their Exchange servers and their laptops and devices, and make sure everything is running in their network. What we're really trying to, and that never ends, right? But as you start making your investment in the cloud, you can start downturning some of that cost and shifting some of that cost into your transformation. Why I share that is because the way we approach our digital strategy is to say, don't look at this as a product. Don't look at this as an end game. Look at this as shifting your investment from manage to reaction to being proactive and getting continually better and better and better, for your organization as times and technology changes. We were working with, we were road mapping with a large city in the Bay Area. And the CTO comes to us. We could tell he was a little flustered early on in the meeting. And I said, what's going on? And he goes, my executives, the board members, are wanting me to come up with a IT investment budget of a span of 30 years. And we kind of laughed and goes, that's so old school in a way of approaching, because technology is going to be so different 5 years from now.
Yeah, let alone.
So, that's right. And so, it's, how do you come up with those numbers? You don't in transformation. And so for us, we're very iterative, right, in the process. Let's get in. Let's have quick wins. Let's solve some of your work, your workforce's problems now. Right. And let's create some wins. And as those wins start to stack up on each other, what you start to happen is that natural cultural change and adoption starts to take place. We could probably have 2 or 3 podcasts around adoption, right? Where that is the key in this day and age with digital transformation. Is back in the day, I believe that when you would roll out a custom software development, it was like 60% was design. Or excuse me, it was broken up in thirds. It was like 3% was the design, 3% was development, and then the last third was testing. Well, that doesn't need to take place with anything in the cloud with Microsoft 365, right? The technology works. It is there. It is ready. what isn't included in that is adoption. And so the way we look at it is, finding some quick wins, really focusing on adoption in the culture, identifying those champion users, but also identifying the users that need help. They need these solutions. We call it from the shop floor to the top floor, back down to the shop floor. That's really our digital transformation focus. Our approach is starting at the shop floor and finding out what is needed there. Based off of those needs, we can create some rapid solutions within the Microsoft 365 space to create momentum across the whole organization. And then what we start to realize is in the meetings that we're not even a part of, but they're hearing that, hey, so-and-so just created a Power BI report that she can generate, or not even need to generate, just click on a link because it's live and create the report or get the information she needs for a meeting that used to take her 2 or 3 hours to prepare for. Then people start in their meetings going, hey, can we do this in Office 365? Hey, can we do this with, with our digital Sherpas or the Nexinite guys? And then as those discussions start to happen, then we're really able to lean in and start to create a true roadmap and based off the needs. And so that's where we say, from the shop floor to the top floor starts to see what's needed. And then they're able to start making their true decisions on, okay, this is what they need. This is what they're asking for. Let's give it to them. And that's really where we go in. And so, because our biggest struggle, I'll tell you, our biggest struggle internally as an organization is when someone comes to us and says, this is what I need. This is what, we know that it's a much more than that. It's the whole digital Sherpa thing of climbing Mount Everest. You and I could both read about it and go, yeah, at this stage, it's going to be really hard. We're going to need to, drink more water, intake more food to get through that area, or the weather's typically bad over there. But we don't know unless we've done it. And so, a lot of times customers go, great, get us a scope of work. And we go, it's not a project and it's not a product. It's a solution and it's a process and it's a transformation. As I tell my wife, I'm just like 20 pounds overweight. And she goes, no, you're more like 30. And I go, who needs abs, right? Who needs abs at this point? I got kids. And she go, but it's, once I get to the 20 pounds lost at the gym, I don't stop, and that's kind of the same way we approach our, help businesses understand and develop what it really truly is to be a digital forward, digital transforming company.
Absolutely. And those abs are there. They're just below that protective layer of cushioning.
No doubt. I almost wore my shirt today. It was the dad bod shirt. It was the classic dad bod shirt. But nice. No, yeah, it's absolutely.
So how does cloud-based software go hand in hand with having a good digital strategy?
Yeah. I'm so biased, and I'll just throw it out there, out the gates, is we fly the Microsoft flag very high. We truly believe that they are the only platform, the only organization in the world that any size business can invest in and need nothing else. And build everything that they need, all the way down from email, which everyone uses and is familiar with Outlook, all the way to the large infrastructural data analytics, line of business applications. I mean, we're talking about solutions and apps, Azure, Power Apps, the Power Platform. Microsoft just came out with, be rolling something out called Microsoft Viva, talking about cultural remote wellness, right? It's all there. And so, I think you need one. right? You need one software. It's Microsoft. Now there are, for me to say that it's really only one is maybe a little bit aggressive, because there are line of business applications that, maybe a construction management firm needs, like Bluebeam, or, that for their drawings, or financial analysts need specific lines of business software to do their business. But, but outside of that, it's really just Microsoft. So having those cloud-based, software investments into your line of business applications, into your productivity like Microsoft, it really allows you to shift your investments from worrying about what's your on-premise infrastructure hardware and all the blinking lights, to then your true digital strategy. And then are able to worry about, how are we communicating with our customers? How are we able to ship product more quickly, right? How are we able to care for our patients in a more safe and protective way? How can we secure data in a certain way? You're starting to have some real business digital, conversations once you're moving everything into the cloud.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it does make sense. And I love the whole part about saving time, because now you just created these extra hours where you can reallocate for other tasks, and you're automating things so that you don't need that person to manually be creating those reports for 3 or 4 hours. Now they just click refresh, and it takes 30 seconds to see your new report. So that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we've, people talk about, machine learning and AI and all these other pieces, that's taking jobs away. And I'm just not one for ever believing in that. I mean, you read back in the day about the tractor, right? Everyone was so worried about the tractor was, going to take everybody's jobs. And we forget how special we are as humans. And when we're able to be more productive and efficient in other places, we're then able to create more opportunities and create, better value to the organization we work for, or the organization that that you own. So, that's really all about, is just clearing the obstacles so you can go move faster and build and do some great things out there.
Yeah, for sure. So as a Microsoft Cloud Solutions provider, what are some of the ways that using these technologies can benefit businesses?
Oh, wow. I mean, just get into it, right? Just get into it. Just start to lean into the ever expanding potential of Microsoft and Office 365. It really truly brings confidence to the way that you work, and it brings confidence to taking on more obstacles and more problems and solving them for your customers that you're serving. That's really where I think that it brings brings some real benefit. It really provides more confidence knowing that, hey, I've invested into Microsoft, and Microsoft is continually making investments into, these products, these solutions, so that I can do a better job with those that I'm working with, whether it's, I'm selling product or working, with customers or patients or whoever it may be. I mean, one example I have is this young assistant that was brought in with a government agency we were working with. She just got, a admin job for the summer. And so we were talking about Office 365, and the GM, I won't say her name, but I should have asked her if I could, because it was one of my favorite stories, but GM of a water wastewater facility. And she identified that this admin had there was excitement or a knack for digital transformation, and for SharePoint and for these tools. And so she said, hey, Jeff, just do me a favor. I want this person in every one of your guys' meetings for our organization. Every one of them. She can take meeting minutes. She can, a year later, which was a couple months ago, she is the one that is building solutions in SharePoint. She's building solutions in Power BI. She's sitting around the table with executives and department heads saying, this is how these tools work.
Wow.
And to see the confidence, right, of her from now to now leading the meetings where we just show up and we're kind of her like bodyguards in a way where if she ever gets herself in a, she'll get eager and excited and go a different way. And Ken will go, yeah, we could do that, but let's maybe approach it this way. But the excitement that she has. And so I think when you're empowering as a business owner or a leader in your organization, empowering your employees with tools, that's truly the benefit and the excitement that I have seen, over the last, many years.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's pretty amazing and good for her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. So what are some of the misconceptions that people might have about moving their businesses to a cloud-based software?
Yeah. Security. It's security, right? It's, I remember, when I was in school, hey, Dad, I want a new baseball bat, or I want a new baseball glove, or whatever it was. And he'd say, all right, well, we'll go down to the store. And I'd go, no, Dad, I can buy it online. I'm not putting my credit card online. Right. I'm not putting my credit card online. I'm not putting my information online. I don't know how often I struggled with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And then taking that same example to now, my dad is probably one of the power users for Amazon and all the other things that are in there, and Coinbase and all, he's doing all these things now, right? With his credit cards on there, social, because he doesn't, it's all out there. And the reality is it's safe, we read about the Target, or we read, these big hacks. It's pretty rare, right? It's more detrimental to actually the business than it is the users. So security is definitely one. And as I've always said, Microsoft, the amount of R&D that goes into these products to make sure, they just signed the Jedi deal that was, I believe, $5 billion with the DoD.
Wow.
Using Microsoft 365. It's going to be okay. Right. It's going to be fine. And so that's usually it. And then the other one is like cloud, right? I'm not familiar with it, or not sure where my data is. Mm-hmm. Well, I go back to, iCloud, right? iCloud, your iPhone. You've been working in the cloud and on the cloud for much longer than you actually think.
Right.
Right. And so, your iCloud account, your Apple ID account is the cloud, right? And so I think that's really it, is security, and we're going to continually learn that we're going to be more secure. And by the way, the hackers and all the other things out there, they're going to get better too. It's just that war with those companies, making sure that they're one step ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So what's the biggest piece of advice you would give to a business owner who's trying to streamline their process?
Yeah, that's a great question. You don't need the end-to-end process right out the gates. I'll talk about Nexinite. As we've been growing and adding more people, we didn't have a process. We were just going. And listen, a lot of small businesses out there just do that. It's revenue, right? You're chasing revenue. You're chasing the new deal. You're chasing, or you're working your tail off in the evenings to keep the customers you have. You're working during the day to go get new ones, and vice versa. And so, and then what starts to happen is that starts to work, and you start adding more people, and then you add 2 people to the group, and they're like, hey, can we meet? Right? Can we talk about these projects? Can we talk about budget? Can we talk about project accounting? Hey, by the way, I was bringing a paper to the desk to sign it, and then all of a sudden we have COVID and you're not at your desk anymore and I'm at my house. What is our new process? What was our process, right? So for us, it's like, get in. So let's talk about it. What is it? You don't need this full-fledged, detailed, all right, when I do this, you're going to do this, and you're going to get an alert, and then I'm going to get an alert, and then my folder structure is going to look like this. No, just let's go high level. Let's just create some wins. Let's get you in there and using it. Because we typically see is when people start to use it, they go, oh, I'm so glad we didn't do what I initially wanted on that, Visio or Sketch. I'm glad that we just got in it and kind of built it as we were in the technology or in the solution, because I would have done so much, I would have done different things. So I think for us, the biggest advice is get in, start it, right? Utilize the tools that you have, learn about them, and then build off. And then you'll be more comfortable, in it. And then the other one is just replicate what you've been doing. And sometimes that's so hard. It's like, so how do you run your business? I just go. I just get on the horse and I ride. I don't know how it works, but no, there is a process. You just have never thought about it before. So sit down and think about it and really, really take it all in. And so that's where those are really our two biggest focus. I mean, there's one example, Planner. Planner is a great tool. I think it's now considered like Microsoft To Do. They've all blended it together, but Microsoft To Do or Planner, utilize that first.
Yeah.
Put a task card on there, assign it to someone. You can communicate there, put an end date, be done. Have a meeting every day, every month or, every week to view those cards and the updates.
Yeah.
That's a great win. And then you can start to go, oh, well, now we don't need to meet because I can streamline this Power Automate process or this alert, or I could create this report based off of our planner so that we can just see productivity flowing. So I think those are our two biggest focuses.
Yeah, that's really good advice, actually. So you and I have spoken many times before, and I know in the past a few times you said you wanted to shake things up in business and the business world, right? So what are some of your goals in achieving that?
Yeah, it's shake things up. I almost it's probably to revert or to go back to some of the core functions in businesses, the core kind of functions of what businesses were a long time ago. I initially used to say, bring back the handshake. Probably right now it's not a good thing to say, bring back the handshake. Right. It actually kind of aligns in some ways. Bring back the elbow bump or the foot tap. Get back to the napkin deals. Right, get back to sitting at the bar and talking, right, to people and having those valuable conversations. Get on the golf course or do it through gaming. Just I want to shake things up by saying, let's build better relationships. That's my biggest focus. Is we're always, we're talking about technology. We're talking about all the solutions that are out there for businesses. And I think, and we talk about it because it moves so quickly and it's such an ever evolving world, and it's a lot. It truly is a lot. But I just wonder what if we focus on the relationships more, and let's focus on the business problems, the business owner more, and really get to know them and their needs and their wants and who they are as a person. And not their political party, but their business, them. I think there would be a lot of changes across the small businesses if they were more focused on that versus, and listen, I get it. The drip campaigns and the email marketing tactics and the emails and the A and B marketing and all of those things to attract, right? And you and I have talked about that, right? There's strategy there.
Right.
But how do we take all of that and be relationship first?
Right.
Right. Be personable first. And then use the technology to increase those relationships, increase those touch points versus, sign up for my $49 class that's going to make you $1 million, and this drip campaign that has all the right colors, all the right click points, all the right call to actions, so that, Jeff at 22 years old, had a couple Coors Lights and thought, $49, I just got paid. I'll click on it and maybe I'll make $1 million, right? It's that for me. It's like, so shake things up, or maybe go back to kind of the what's the Peaky Blinders, or what's the other one, the Prohibition type. Get back, suit up, shake some hands, get in front of it, do some napkin deals, and see where that goes.
Yeah, definitely. So let me get you fired up now.
Awesome.
Let's talk about Twitch. Let's talk about your Twitch channel and what's going on with that.
Oh, I love it. I so love it. It goes right off of kind of our conversation that we just, the last question that you asked. See, when I say bring back the handshake or the napkin deals, I know we're thinking physical, right, but not necessarily, right? This feels pretty intimate to me, in a sense that, we're talking about some fun stuff that we love and we're passionate about. And so our biggest focus internally is to create community. I want to create community within the people we work with internally, the people we work for. And we want to create community not only in our business day, but also outside of it. And so I remember one time I was talking to Ken. We were in a car ride, and he has some older kids of 15, 16, 17-year-old, and they go to school, they excel at school, they come back, and they want to get into their games, right? And they want to get into it. And coming from the traditional kind of sports world, the only games we were playing was like NBA, 2K, whatever the year was then. After baseball, and we all be competing and whatever, but and I would say, don't they need interaction, Ken? Like, don't they need to go out and interact? And he goes, think about it. You think they're interacting more than you did? Are they having more conversations? Are they connecting are they having better connections and better communication with their community out there? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I had a small group of people in high school. As the guy, a couple guys, girls that, played sports. Mm-hmm. Well, I was able to connect on the sports field with them. But what about the people that loved computers or loved books or loved art? Mm-hmm. And there wasn't so many of them at a high school, right? Or so many at them on the campus they're on. But they could come home, they can excel at school and the homework and do their things, and come home and jump into a forum or a Discord or a Twitch channel where people all over the world is art. They love art, and they can connect, and their communities there, and they can build confidence and excitement. Like, that just jacks me up to go like, yeah, you're right. Actually, they are communicating more, and they have an outlet to connect with people, and they can build each other up in their communities. And so for us, I want to do the same thing for a business. I want to build a community that connects with who we are as a small business, connects with the solutions we are, and maybe gets to know me on a different level, gets to know Ken on a different level. This Twitch thing came about from a conversation or a game that Ken and I would play in meetings over the last 3 or 4 years. Was we were meeting with a pretty large organization. And it was one of the first larger organizations we work with. So palms are sweaty. My notes are out. I want to be right on everything. And Ken and I are in the conference room, and we're huddled over one computer screen. And the CEO of a fairly large organization uses a term, level up. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. And Ken looks at me, and he just like loosens up, smiles, and he whispers, he goes, he's a gamer. Yeah. And I go, what? He's a gamer. I go, no, he's not. That guy, no, he's not. Ken starts kind of wiggling in his gamer terms. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about a pretty large problem within the organization and getting to the root of it. And they just start talking about, what game you play?
Yeah.
Oh, I play this. And you could tell they were slightly hesitant about it. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. How did you know that? Well, I just knew because that's kind of in our forums, that's kind of some of the language we use. And I go, how many other CEOs, how many other executives or board members or, leaders in this space are in the gaming space? And the more we would play the game of finding out if they were a gamer or not through our meetings, we started to realize there's a lot of them. And then we started just diving into that whole, place. So our goal is, we're going to start slow in the summer here, 2021 with a Twitch channel for Nexinite. We're going to be hosting house DJs, right? Once in a while, we'll bring in, some just chatting folks. That's right. I mean, let's do it. Right. I would love for like an engineer that we're working with, on a $600 million project to go Nexinite Twitch channel off of LinkedIn. What's this? And it's a house DJ, someone from Canada or somewhere, wherever, playing DJ music and people are just hanging out talking. And, games. I would love, Stacy, one of our key account managers in Charleston. She's a gamer at night, right? She games a little bit. Love for her to, be gaming. And one of her clients that she's working with across the country is like, I'm a gamer too. Like, let's get on, let's game. And we're doing it here, right, under Nexinite. So I think creating community is the way that we're going to bring back that handshake or those napkin deals and build relationships up.
Yeah, 100%. And I will share this with you. When I was younger, way back when, many decades ago, I beat 2 games.
Okay.
One was Super Mario Brothers 3.
Right.
And the other one that I beat was Double Dragon.
Perfect. See? Look at that. I'll tell you, the video games today, but I'll just throw it out. I am the worst video game player there is on the face of this planet. I am. I'm terrible. I truly, truly am. The skill level that's out there and the eye-hand coordination and the speed in which the guys do it and the memory of the maps and hey, this inventory matched with this inventory matched with this helmet gives you this amount of powers. All of the logistics and the inventory management and the asset, management, and the problem solving that takes place, and then interacting with humans that are also doing it, and the game that it's built and learning the pace. That's business. I mean, it is so business to me. The level of interaction, the level of diving in and having to stay focused for a long period of time. It's business.
Yeah.
So terrible gamer. So I'm glad. I don't think I've beat anything. To be quite honest with you, the only games that we really.
I'm throwing a challenge out there. I'm throwing a challenge out there. You gotta beat something this year.
All right. We'll do that. We talked about. I'll throw it out there. No, hopefully no one will take it. But one of the things that I mentioned was we're going to do something called the Couch Co-op. And that will be a segment of the Nexinite Twitch where you can call out, one of your, coworkers, one of your, customers, and games stream together. We'll get you on the Couch Co-op and you do a little Street Fighter. You can do a little Double Dragon, you can do, whatever you want, challenge each other. So I'll take on that challenge. I might have to start with something small, but I'll definitely do it.
For sure.
And I'll follow up with you.
Yeah, you definitely have to. I know with Double Dragon, you had to play with someone else, and it was my brother and I. And
Awesome.
we were in Myrtle Beach, actually.
Hey.
As I spent many summers. We had a condo in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And my brother and I would walk to the local Circle K. And in the back of the Circle K, and for those of you that don't know what that is, it's like a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Had an arcade back there, and it was a Double Dragon. And every day my brother and I would go down there with a bunch of quarters. We'd throw them in there. We would get the Bazooka Joe 5-cent bubble gum. And we would be chewing on our gum, and we were playing, just, smacking the buttons like crazy, just trying to beat the bad guy.
Yeah.
We kept doing it till the end of the summer, to the point where we got so good and we beat the game. So, but I can do it alone.
I know, but that's it, right? I mean, that is incredible. I mean, there's so much. Again, we could probably do another podcast just on that, but there's just so much beauty to that. In all things, with business and whatever you're selling or out there doing. So it's awesome. I love it.
So if you could pick any CEO to have on the show right now, just so you could pick their brain, who would it be?
I'll say one CEO that I definitely want to sit down with and have a couple with, or just walk with through their day to day, is definitely Gary V. Is definitely Gary V. I think there's many things I connect with him on, and then there's some other things that I just don't, not necessarily align with, but I want more clarification on. I appreciate his connection to like the roots. As I said, I back in the beginning, I remember the smell of the 1980 Buick, dark out, my eyes barely open, getting to my grandma's house, and then smelling the burnt eggs. My grandma would scramble these eggs, and they were just like burnt. They were just that smell, and then bagels with cream cheese and piling cream cheese. So I remember that, and I connect to that. And so when he's talking about the garage selling and the flipping and the transactional stuff, I love that piece. I'm curious, I'm curious on what he believes on timing, business timing, and luck and effort and all that combined. So there's that. Satya from Microsoft. I mean, again, I know it's super like that's what he would say. Just the amount of the amount of growth that he has taken since he's taken over, and the direction Microsoft is going is just really unbelievable. And so I just love to just kind of dive into his brain a little bit and to understand where this world is going, where's technology going, where's people going, and can we have a balance of both?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's some great choices right there. So what's next for you on the horizon?
My biggest focus right now is being a better husband, being a better father, being a better friend, and really just becoming a better listener, and truly trying to help, right, in any way that I can, and know where I can't. But I think that's really what's next for me is, and by the way, I say that, I got business goals, right? We got business goals. I want to grow the business. We want to keep growing. We want to keep building solutions and bringing solutions to customers. So from a business perspective, the goal is, and when Stacy listens to this, she'll laugh, but we're building a team of good people, know good people. Has nothing to do with skills. We want good people. We see this big table. I did this picture of a big Nexinite table, and on the outside, it just was stools of good people. And that's what we're building. That's our focus. And so I think as one of the partners, my goal is to be one of the best people the best people I could be. And so I think, starting at home and letting that, evolve into my relationships I have in business with my employees, and our customers, I think is really what's next on my horizon. And if that turns into revenue, great. If that turns into more employees and more solutions and more problem solved across the small business spectrum, then great. But I think that's really my biggest focus.
Nice. Awesome. So where can everyone find you? Where can they find Nexinite and your upcoming Twitch channel? Yeah,
LinkedIn. All of our eggs are going into LinkedIn. You're going to start to see that. If you go there now, you're going to see very little presence. But we're working on that. We're laying down the groundwork. We've been laying down the groundwork since January. That's been a 2021 goal of ours, is to set a great LinkedIn foundation across our organization, and then into LinkedIn, building community there, building connection, building engagement there. So you'll see us all there. Nexinite.com, we're going through a great revamp. You'll see some brand changes and some styles of where we're wanting to go. You'll see me there as well. And feel free to reach out to me. I'm really active when it comes to the DMs and the messages, and any way that I can help or bring value, I'll definitely do so.
Great. Well, Jeff Wright, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure having you. And I look forward to all the new great things from you and Nexinite.
Melissa, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on here, and excited for all the great things ahead of both of our paths.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in for another edition of A Breath Fresh Marketing. And again, be well and have a great rest of your week.